Hey, how you doing, Britt?
Good. How
Oh,
are
there we
you?
go. Got it.
Very good.
Good.
I was just saying that I'm going to do, I have a PDF of a keynote that I'm putting into the chat, which is there, which you didn't receive. It's kind of a bonus because as I go through the work goals, I'm going to show you the top 10 things that, you need to be doing in your business in all eight parts of your work. So it's overwhelming, it's fast, but you have the resource. So
Okay.
I highly recommend that you ask a lot of questions here today to get clarity, and then you book another hour to 2 hours of your own. No kids, no family, just nice quiet time somewhere. Maybe a nice cabin up at Whistler,
Oh yeah. Right.
and then away we go. Good. All right. Well, I'm going to get started and people will be popping in. So just excuse me when I have to go let them in the room. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull up some files here. That one right there goes on. All right. Great. So I always start off with the celebrations for two reasons. One is everyone's forgotten what they did to get where they are because they just move on so quick through life. And two is celebrations is the most important part because it's how we put and complete 2024, how you bring the year to an end. So what you want to do is you want to just go into there and just start listing off the celebrations. You'll notice at the bottom of the page here, I've put in all of these things that you can access to get your brain to think about where were there successes in my work, finance, marriage, family. And what you want to do is you want to go through there and you just want to make a list and you just want to make sure that you put in as many as you can without bypassing it. So just take a little few seconds here and start putting in things like the trips that you might have taken, Hawaii, or where you've traveled. Of course, put your business goals in there, like what you accomplished as far as your level of income or the amount of ends that you've done. And do not put them in there if you don't think they're a success because you didn't like your year last year or you loved your year last year. It's easy to put in, but just put in the facts of what happened in your work, your finance, your life, and you just want to start making a list of all the celebrations. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes just to start that process, just to get your brain working, because I'm going to ask you a few questions to that after that's done. You can add things like paid the mortgage down or things that you're working on that you don't even know you're doing that you're having success in. Go through each part of that, each one of those parts at the bottom and try to find a success in each one. It's so hard to reach back, but once you get writing, you want to get that rhythm going. So what are you noticing about this process? Turn your microphones on for a sec. What are you noticing about having to look back and try to find these things? Is it easy? Is it hard? What are you finding?
I'm finding it pretty easy. I filled up my site already.
Oh, good for you. Excellent. How about you, Robin?
Yeah, I'm finding it easy. It's all very fresh and memorable, and so it's nice to have these positive things to reflect on.
Good, good. Caroline?
Yeah, it feels good to because you don't really think about it on a daily basis. So now when you go through it, you're like, oh, it wasn't such a bad year. It was pretty good.
Yeah, you change your story, right? The whole
Yeah.
idea is to be in the truth and not the story of it's not enough, I need to be better, And again, we're all sitting here, we're alive. Our children are alive, we're eating. It's a pretty good life. Uh, Britt, what did you notice? Is that pretty easy for you or hard to do?
Easy.
Good. Okay, so now that you've written that down, I'm going to ask you a question, right? So the question is what core values did you apply to achieve those things in your life? So what core values did you apply to get those successes? So commitment, dedication, empathy, compassion, leadership, integrity, hard work, commitment, discipline, tenacity. What would be the core values when you look at all of that? What core values did you apply to get there? And just kind of write those down and then give them a nice circle around them. If you can come up with 3 or 4, that would be great, but 2 or 3 is fine as well. And then now I ask the question, now that you've accomplished those things and you've celebrated those things, you realize the core values that you've applied to achieve them, what value have you created for your life today by doing those things and living by those values? So sitting here today, what value have you created for your life? Security, abundance, great family, wealth, whatever it would be for you. What have you created for your life by accomplishing those successes and applying those core values? So as you reflect, what do you feel, Monica, is the value that you've created for your life?
Um, I feel like it's given me like great relationships, just sort of being my best, kindness to other people, given me like more wisdom and discernment, perseverance, growth, and like truth or autonomy.
Good. Right? And now that's the year you're going to build on. So if today's the worst day of the rest of your life and you +1 from there, how good does tomorrow look? So now this is what we're doing. We're creating, our fallback worst day instead of going back to, 6 months ago when a deal collapsed, or 7 months ago, or 9 months, or a year ago when you might have had a little trauma in your life. It's like reestablishing your zero to keep going forward. For you, Caroline, what was your value that you created?
Stronger family connection with my kids, more confidence in my ability in myself, and just being authentically true and being authentically or authentic, like
Yeah, genuine, real.
genuinely in what I do. Yeah.
Good, great. And for you, Robin, what happened for you there?
I have family, leadership, and community as being those core things that drove what happened in 2024 for me.
Excellent. That's awesome. And then you, Britt?
Hard work, discipline, and integrity, which led to a better work-life balance, security, and growth.
Right. So there you go, guys. We just celebrated 2024. That wasn't so tough, was it? That's a little bit of a deeper dive where I really want you to see your value in the year and not just, because you work with a team, you have partners, you have kids, you have, I just want you to see your part, because that's the part that as a coach, I just want to build upon. That's the foundation. And just imagine staying connected to that through a vision board this year, looking back and staying connected to those core values. So the number one thing that I want to go into now is, because we are, let me go here. Okay. Want to share my screen. Share. All right. So we're going to go to the life wheel, which is right here. It's this one. Because the next part is, as your goal setting for next year, I need you to be strong. I need you to be clear, and I need you to be good on what you're really trying to accomplish by doing the tasks. So what you want to do is you want to just go around the life wheel and name your parts of the life wheel for yourself. So quickly do that. There's a menu up above if you have a hard time finding what you want to accomplish or what is important to you. Once you've done that, I want you to go around and think about, after your celebrations page, you're looking at your celebrations page. And now you're going to say, okay, in 2024, looking at my celebrations page, reflecting on the year, on a scale of 1 to 10, I feel I am personally satisfied at a 9 with my family. I'm satisfied at an 8 with my work. I'm satisfied with a 6 at my health. Just go around that circle and mark how you are reflecting on the year and where you feel you are on a scale of 1 to 10. And this is where I'm going to bring a little bit of a twist in, which is kind of fun.
Steve, did you send that, or was that a different attachment?
That will be, you got that in the email as one of the resources.
Oh, okay.
If you don't have it, hang on.
I've done it with you lots. I know it, but.
Do you have it? Because if you don't have it, I can drop it in the chat.
Sure, maybe that'd be great. I'm just pulling up the email right now.
Okay, well, you can pull up the emails, but I'll put it in the chat for you as well.
Thank you.
Okay, now what we do is, let me just go here, see if I can get this. Okay, I'm just going to drop it in the chat here real quick, and then I'll go back to it. The next part is what I find to be the most success for my clients is when they're setting their goals, they can find the driver that drives you to success is not the act that you're doing, it's the feeling that that act creates for you. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to drop this in there. Is you ask yourself the question, there we go. All right, it's in there now.
Thanks.
No problem. So the question that you want to ask yourself, because questions are great, they make you think, obviously, is when my family's at a 9 and I'm able to take that to a 10, what is the feeling or word that I would use to describe when I'm at a 10? So instead of like, oh, here's what I'm going to do, I want to know the feeling that's going to accomplish that you're going to have when you're at a 10. So when you're at a 10, what is the feeling that you will have that's going to allow you to shoot towards? So connection. So if I go from a 9 to a 10 with my family, I'll be more connected. I'll be closer, and it'll be more, I guess the word that's coming to mind is intimate. So I'll put in there that, it'll be intimate and connected. So that's what I'm going to put for being with the family. And then I'll go to the next one. And I'll ask myself, when my work is from an 8 to a 9, how will I feel in my work? I will feel fulfilled. Don't steal my words. Make sure they're your own, because this is the important part. The rest comes after this. It's kind of a breakdown of what you're going to do to get there. But right now you want to set the goal with the feeling or the word that you want to accomplish in 2025 when you improve that part of your life just by a little bit. The nice part about writing it out is you can lay the sheets beside you, because we're going to refer back to them. All right. You should have 8 words that when you read them should motivate you, should make you realize like, hey, yeah, this is going in the right direction. So once you read those 8 words back to you, you'll find that your mind already shifts. So it's really important to reflect on your goals. Don't put them in a drawer. Don't ignore them, right? It's important to reflect on them and read these, because they're able to give you that mental shift on the hard days or the days where you need a little bit of a push, right? So that's kind of one of the most important things about taking this process and writing it out, is reviewing it quarterly, at minimum quarterly. I would say monthly, pulling it out, looking at it, just refreshing. And that's why a vision board is good, because once you take all the information that we're going to create here today, you're going to create a vision board on your own time for it, which will automatically trigger that part of your brain and will get you in a more positive and a more focused mindset. Once you've written down your words, we go back to our celebrations sheet, and then you go celebrations, your goals for 2025 is you write down 3 things that you're going to do in each one. So mine was family. What am I going to do to be more connected and intimate? I'm going to have more one-on-one time with each child. I'm going to make sure that I travel and, with my wife on our anniversary. And then I'll write those 3 goals down. And then I'll go to the next one. And I'll do the same thing with my work. What am I going to do in my work to feel more fulfilled? And I'll come up with 3 actions. I don't want this to be a big idea. I want 3 things. I want things that you can accomplish, things that you can do in the next year. So you've got the whole year to accomplish it. And when doing so, we'll accomplish and we'll create the word that you're looking for, or the feeling that you want to attain by doing those things. So you ask yourself the question, I'm at an 8 to go to a 9 to be more fulfilled. What are some things I could do to be more fulfilled? Giving that structure to your brain to come up with your actions for your life. So just take 2-3 minutes and start writing that down. Ask any questions as you're going through it, if you have any questions. Okay, so I'm just going to check in here. So turn your microphones on. All right, Monica. So what are you noticing about when you give you start with the end first, what you're looking to accomplish, you reflect where you are on a scale of 1 to 10, and then you ask yourself what you can do to get there. What are you noticing about that process for yourself?
It identifies exactly what you have to do rather than thinking about it on the fly. It's more planned and intentional, I guess.
Yep.
It all aligns with the things that you're working so hard for.
Right. And then the whole idea is to identify the end first. I want to feel this way. Feelings are what drive us. And I found this out when I was looking at someone's vision board, and it was a gentleman who had a Harley Davidson on there. And I said, so great. So you have that Harley Davidson. What's the feeling you're going to have when you're sitting on it? And he went, powerful, power. And I'm like, okay, so what are you doing in your life to create that power for yourself? And then he kind of really went from a picture to a reality. And then he was like, oh, okay, well, I already have that. What I'm really looking for is this. So it just kind of straightens out and gives the brain the focus that it needs. How about you there, Britt? What did you notice about that process? I think we've done it before, but how's it go this time?
Yeah, good. Just kind of looking at it and being able to like reflect back and hold yourself accountable to achieve those things.
Yeah, and not just hold yourself accountable, because that's the perfectionist in you. It's also this place of giving yourself the grace to see the actual things that you want to put into your life. It's a bit selfish because we're here goal setting, and maybe as you're writing these things down, you're like, oh, I can't make that happen because of my partner or because of life. It's just a really good reflection of what you're wanting, right? So, Robin, have you ever done a process like that where you identify the feeling or the word you're looking for?
Yeah, I think you and I did it several years ago, and I think the one thing I've always thought about goal setting is that, it always feels like it's got to be a big hairy thing, and it doesn't have to be that big hairy thing. What it needs to be is those intentions, and then setting out the practices and the processes to actually make those happen. So, it's nice to have these top 3 things, but those 3 things also each need about 2 or 3 things
Yeah,
hammered down. And
100%.
so that's a work in progress for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say sometimes with the goals, you kind of get overloaded and then you're thinking you have to do everything perfect versus focusing on a couple. Then those come naturally and then focusing on more. And hopefully by the end of the year, you've achieved all of them.
Depending on your personality, you might end up with goal setting for 8 hours and 100 things, right? And what I want you to know is that's overwhelming for the brain, and it automatically feels like you can't do enough. And you do not want to be coming from an operating system of I'm not good enough or I can't get to it. You want to set goals that are realistic and then break them down. You'll realize as you're going through, you've already accomplished them. You can set more, or the micro tasks or the breakdown of those tasks, right? That becomes part of your daily routine, focused on that feeling that you want to create. A daily routine is the most important thing you can have. And if that daily routine is focused on an end result 1 year from now, then that's great. And also realize if I were to ask you what you want to accomplish in 1 month in your work and what you want to accomplish in 1 year, 2 different answers. And so that's why you want to have a 3-year plan for your, for your life financially, and a 1-year plan for your work, and then review those goals. A 3-year is going to be like, well, in 3 years, I want this much money. In 1 year, I have to save this much money. And in 1 month, I have to save this much money. And then you have a plan. And when you have a plan, the brain is happy. No plan, it's unhappy. It says, words I hear in coaching are, I feel directionless. I'm bored. I don't understand. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know why I'm doing this. What's the purpose? And when I hear that language, it's like, stop, identify the purpose. I want more contentment. I want more strength. I want more peace. Like, my goal this year to work out is to get stronger, but to you, that might be physical strength. But to me, it's strong in the habit. I just want to have that habit just happens. I don't even waver on it. So that's why it's important to find it your life, your rules, your way, what you want to accomplish, and then to review that and ask yourself, and this is a great thing, when you are feeling lost, you can pull it out and go, am I on track to creating this? And you'll be like, no, I'm not. Now you know why you're lost. That's the most important thing is like, why am I lost? Where am I going? But if you ask yourself why you're lost, it's because life is busy. Our focus got shifted. We got triggered by something in the life, like a trauma or a death in the family. And all of a sudden the year is gone and you're like, why didn't I accomplish what I wanted to accomplish? So what I really want you to know is your work that you guys are going to do now is going to be exactly that. Okay. Which is, you're going to take this, pull it aside. You can add some more celebrations to 2024, go back to 2025, break down all the 8 parts of your life and have 3 things that you're going to achieve that feeling, aligning with applying your core values and creating that value you want for your life. The reason I did this part first, because if you're good, the business happens. Okay. If you're not good, the business doesn't happen. If you're overwhelmed, if you're busy, if you're stressed, if you're depressed, if you're angry, if you're disappointed, if you're frustrated, if you're living in resentment, these things cloud everything. And what we want to do is we got to do the work on us first and then walk out the door and become an accountant, a realtor, or running your business. If this isn't good, if your inner isn't good, your outer isn't good. If we focus on the outer and get frustrated, it only makes our inner more frustrated. So have a routine, do the work so that you can accomplish the things that you want to accomplish, right? All right, so let's go back here to now that we've done that part, here's the next thing we do now, which is we want to do the same thing for our business. Now, if anybody here isn't a realtor, which is Robin, basically. Robin, you still have to run a business, right? Robin, why don't you share a little bit too? Are you still involved with the Girl Guides, or what's going on there?
No, I'm not. Thankfully, my role came to a natural end, but at one point in time, I'm running my full-time accounting practice. I'm a sole practitioner. I was the chair of the board for Girl Guides of Canada at the national level. So that took me to board meetings in Ontario a fair bit until COVID stopped the travel, but it certainly didn't stop the board meetings and whatnot from happening. So that came to an end mid 2022. And I'm also the co-owner of Remax Saber Realty. So I help my husband with the growing the business, and he does the management side, but I also take care of the back end when his controller's away. So at some times I was working 80-hour weeks and feeling the strain of that. And luckily that the Girl Guides, which was a full-time volunteer on top of a couple of full-time gigs, that's all come to an end. So, or that part of it's come to an end, and I'm just down to a regular, more manageable workload. So
great.
it's my wheel has certainly changed, Keith, since the last time we talked.
Excellent. Yeah. Well, you know what? That's life, and the wisdom that you get from that and the growth. I mean, that's what I love about being old, is looking back and reflecting and learning. In the book Tuesdays with Maury, Maury asks the professor, Mitch asks Maury, would you go back and do it all over again? He says, can I take my wisdom? And he said, no. He said, no, thanks. I'd rather die 85 of cancer than go back and do this all over again without the wisdom. So our work goals and commitments. At the top, you'll see January, February, March, April, May, June, July, all the way across. What I want you to do is I want you to figure out what you want to do for sales volume. So if your goal is 24, 12, 50, 60, I want you to break it down in the strong months where you think you'll have the most, success, and the slower months where you might not. Kind of spread it out. Or if you want, just take 60 divided by 12 and say 5 a month, or 24 and divided by 12 and put 2 a month. And then, Robin, however you measure the success in your business, like that could be how many clients you want to have, how much money you want to generate. And if this focus is going to be on your accounting business, then obviously you know how much you want to make, how many clients you would need, and then you could put on there every month that you're gaining, or whatever. If this is for operating Saber, then it just gives you a 1-year plan on things that you could do. You could turn this wheel, you could change the words on this wheel for your business. So if it's accounting, it could be like, quarterly reports, dealing with the accountants, CRA, balancing, working with the girls at the office, working with the controller, leadership. Your work wheel could look completely different. I just want you to take the time to stop and notice all the parts to your work. And if you're going to do it for one job or another job, just create a different work wheel for each job. This wheel applies to every entrepreneur in every business. Okay? You need to have marketing. You need to be committed and disciplined to your work. You need to have office systems set up in place to make it easier. You need to have lead generation. Otherwise, you're not going to eat tomorrow. You need to take care of your past clients, the bread and butter, the people that already like you, that'll refer you. You need to have work on yourself and your confidence so that you're not affected by the noise of the world. You need to have good time management so that you're being and executing your time effectively, not just efficient, getting a whole bunch of stuff done, effectively getting the right stuff done, and then using technology in your business. So I'm going to pull up that keynote now, and I'm going to go through each one as we go along. Whatever, something happened there. Anyways, okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just stop the share for a sec, and I'm going to pick up there it is. All right. So marketing. Here's the top things that everyone should be doing in marketing for their business. Number 1 is always develop your brand and all your social media around the core values like you wrote down. So if you want to go look, if you look at web pages and one looks like, oh yeah, and one makes you think, wow, they're approachable, they're kind, they're warm, or they're successful, it's because their brand has been developed around their core values and not just, Keith Cornish realtor, and here's my real estate page. So everybody should take the time to do the work on that. In my purpose-driven masterclass, we do the North Star. We develop that. I help you create your value proposition, differentiating value proposition, your taglines, your core values all around you. And I help you create your biography for all your stuff. Social media marketing, geographically targeted posts. That's changed, but you have to still do that. Video and video updates, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. If you're in business and you really want to expose yourself, you should be in all of those places, and every one of those places should look identical. So your brand should be going all the way through. So AIM Coaching is black, red, and white. You can see here on this, everything's black and white, black, red, and white. My signs are black, red, and white. The target's red and white. If you go to my LinkedIn, it's black, red, and white. If you go to my Facebook, if you go to my Instagram, everything's the same. So if you feel like that's something that needs to be updated, then that should be a work goal for you. Update all of your branding across each one. Sponsor community teams, organizations, be involved in the community as a volunteer, not just for your business. Everyone should have buyer and seller brochures and brochures that promote the company. I work with other businesses. I work with construction businesses and builders and contractors. And the first thing I do is I develop their webpage and their brand, and then I create a brochure, which none of them have. And then I mail that brochure out to where they're doing all their bidding, and instantaneously I increase their business because nobody has marketing. Nobody has marketing like realtors do, because realtors have marketing because it's such a competitive industry. You have to stand out. So make sure you have a brochure about your business or your company, beautifully done. Spend some money on it. You might have to spend like $300 on design and print. Everyone should have that, not just to hand to the client, but for your own level of self-confidence, because when you have that in your hand, you're going to feel like you're the real deal, and it's going to build your confidence up. Always, in your marketing, make sure you're doing, if you have a farm or you're doing events, a shred it, garage sale, Halloween bags, Easter bag, scavenger hunt, Xmas, Christmas tree chipping. An easy one to do is an ice cream social. Go to a local business, an ice cream guy, say, hey, I'm going to have my clients come here on Saturday between 12 and 4 or 12 and 2. I'm going to be here with my tent outside. When they come through, give me the bill, I'll pay it. You send it out to your clients, meet me at the ice cream thing, bring your kids or whatever. They come down there. It's no work for you. You just got to cut the check, and you just got to show up for 2 hours. And it's a great client event that's going to cost you very little, but gives you another contact. This is what you want to be doing when you're marketing. The last thing you want to do is create a consistent marketing calendar that's not dependent on market activity. So when you sell something, you market, and then it's quiet. And then when you get a listing, you market and it's quiet. You want a consistent marketing all the way across the board. So I would love to see everyone to have a calendar, a year at a glance calendar, where every marketing touch is pre-done in your goal setting. Client mailer goes out here, newsletter goes out here. If you can actually plan your marketing for the year by sitting down for 2 hours or an hour, then every month you just look at your calendar, you know what you have to do, and it's easier to do, and it's consistent, and it's not going to be overwhelming. Okay? So to +1 your marketing, those are the things you can do. Then when you look at commitment and discipline, like, what does that even mean? Hey, Monica, what does it even mean, commitment and discipline? Caroline, what do you think I mean by commitment and discipline? Like, what do you think that means to somebody who's self-employed? Oh, your microphone's on.
For me, it's the discipline and setting the time blocks, and committing to those, and setting up calendars Like now I'm looking at doing in 3 month increments versus looking at the whole year. Because for me, it's a little bit more bite size and manageable in my head. But focusing on that, I've already started to look at time blocking and my calendars for the next quarter. And so then I can just build off of that.
The number one most important thing in time management is setting the time to manage your time. Every Sunday at 2 o'clock, you can come to my office here in wonderful New Westminster, have a latte. I'm here. My schedule is opened up. I love doing it on my laptop because the calendar is bigger. And I just start texting and telling everyone where the appointments are going to be and if I have to rearrange. In the new year, I've got to go facilitate a meeting for a company, which means I got to cancel a Thursday. But I rearrange all my Thursday appointments and fit them in and get it all because I planned it on Sunday instead of reacting. You have to lead your life, not manage it. You have to lead your life. The most important thing that you have is your time and attention. And if you don't lead that time and attention, it goes where you don't want it to go. Everybody wants it. The kids want it, the dog want it, the friends want it. Everybody wants your time and attention. If you don't prioritize that and you're a people pleaser, you will give that time and attention to others. They will be happy. That fulfills you because you feel like you're making a difference in their life, but your life isn't getting the difference that it needs. So remember that. The commitment and discipline to your calendar should be your number one priority. Here's things that you can do to be more committed and disciplined in your business. Create a morning routine that creates a winning attitude. Meditation, you can do the Focus 30-20-10 that I have in my dailies. You can do diary, get your coffee, do yoga, go for a 5K run. You need something every morning. That's the most important time because your brain is a computer, and if it's not rebooted into the right mindset, you're not going to get the success you want. Even though you feel you're doing the things you need to do, the attitude in which you're doing it is impacting your business negatively. So you need to straighten that attitude out in the morning with a morning routine. Then, of course, block time to build your week. Sunday evenings, I do Sunday afternoons. Money-making Mondays, follow up and create. Every Monday, you should follow up with every lead in your business and phone everybody in the first 9 to 10, 11. You'll be leaving voicemails. That's fine. And then you'll feel like, okay, great. Especially the conflictual ones. Deal with the conflict first. Do not wait till Thursday because the anxiety from Monday to Thursday will affect your focus. You make those phone calls, you get up, you get a cup of coffee, and it's like, well, hello, Mr. Smith. We had no showings. There's nobody through. The market's crashing. Do you still want to reduce your price or take it off the market? No, I want to reduce. Great. Hello, John. You canceled your appointment last week. You have one for Tuesday. Are you going to be there? If not, I'm going to charge you. It's like, what conversations do you need to have so that you have them Monday morning so the rest of the week is amazing? Do not delay the conflictual conversations. Block time for your business builders. As we talk about, the business builders are not urgent. What's urgent is making the money. The business builders are the things that nobody is disciplined in, because nobody can be disciplined in making their calls every day and then following up and popping by clients and doing the things that you need to do to generate the money makers. And that's what you should do. Every Monday morning, you should be doing your business builders and making sure that throughout the week, you have a minimum of 3 appointments that are going to generate more business for you. 3 appointments. So a past client that's referred you, a really good client that you want to maintain that relationship with, or new business if it's there. And what you were saying, Caroline, about breaking it down to 3 months, I actually want you to review your goals, your business, and your CEO's report, which you're familiar with, which is another tool that I provide my clients every month, minimum every month. I look at mine every 2 weeks because it feels great when it's going good. And then I'm reviewing it and I'm like, oh, business is good. I'm making money, and which makes me want to go make more money. If I don't review it and I don't know where I'm at, then my brain says, you don't have enough. The bills aren't going to get paid. So when it goes time to market, I don't market because I save the money for the bills and I don't increase my business. You need to know your numbers. It's like when you have your vital signs at the hospital. You need to know the health of your business at all times. You need to know your cash flow, how much is coming in, and what your projected income is, because then that can build confidence, which allows you to do things that you normally wouldn't do in your business. And if you're not good at being a scheduler, or you find that your time management isn't great, then what I need you to do is record and schedule everything in your calendar. Go through a week where you write every little thing you do down in your calendar. It's like the reflection of the successes we did at the very beginning. You'll look back and think I did nothing, but you'll look and go, oh, all my time and attention went there. No wonder I don't have any business. The first thing I do when someone comes to me and says, yeah, I don't have what I want, I'm like, give me your calendar. They're like, what? I said, give me your phone, give me your calendar. I'll tell you exactly why you have what you have today by looking at what you did yesterday. It's that simple, you guys. So if you're feeling overwhelmed or lost or you can't get there, record a week, just write everything down. And once you're aware of where your time is going, you will fix it. You will say, well, I'm not doing that anymore, because that's not bringing, long lunches with a friend, or, checking out and then all of a sudden you look down and you're on your phone 7 hours a day on TikTok. So this is what you need to do. You need to reflect and really take 1 week and write everything down so you can analyze your week and you can tweak it and make it better. Dress for success, take extreme ownership, no excuses. The number one thing that is huge in my life is the accountability to me to own and accept, deep acceptance of everything that's happened. So a really good example is I was coaching an office manager the other day. They had a big mistake. They got behind Robin's going to hate this being an accountant. They got behind $800,000 in invoicing. And so they were 8 months behind on invoicing. So they don't have proper books. They don't know what's going on. The cash flow is tight. They're starting to panic. We caught this. We hired someone that used to work for the company to come in, but the office manager never accepted it, never owned it. And so the owners are pissed because they don't feel like it's getting fixed. And she's not owning it because it's not all her fault, but she is the office manager. So the coaching call with her was, I just need you to say to me and nobody else, just us on the call, I own the mistake and here's what I've done to fix it. And she said that, and instantly she could feel a stress relief. So just on that, why do you think if you own something like that, the stress goes away right away? Who wants to comment on that? Why do you think that happens, Britt?
Well, because you think that everyone else already knows that, you're just not taking ownership. So once you admit it, it's just gone.
It's gone.
Yeah.
It's so powerful. I cannot explain. Like if you look in your past and you see a mistake that you had, like you had an argument with a partner or a friend, and you know that you look at it and it wasn't right, you go, I own that and I'm going to fix it. Once you own it, your friend doesn't even care anymore. They just want to know that you own it. Like it just goes away.
Hard.
Okay?
Saying sorry is so hard sometimes.
Yeah, but I'm not asking you to say sorry, because I'm saying I made a mistake. I own it. Here's what I'm going to do moving forward. Not like I'm sorry, because I'm going to be honest with you. Sorry doesn't do anything to the other party.
No, that's right.
If you say, I made a mistake and I own it, the other party has trust that it's not going to happen again, because there's a very low chance of it happening again if you own it.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore trust is built. So that's a super, super, super extreme ownership and owning everything. And even if you don't own it to the person that's right there, if you own it for yourself, you'll find that you're more powerful, more effective, and more focused, because you're not distracted by the stress and the embarrassment and the shame that goes with that crap. Okay. So extreme ownership, no excuses, and get up and dress every day like you're going to work. No pajamas at the computer. Don't think that that's good, because it isn't. Okay. Get up, have a shower, get dressed. You'll feel like a pro. You'll act like a pro, and you'll do pro things. That's what you need to do to be committed and disciplined. All right. So now you guys, I'm showing you these things. You're going to have this slide. When you go away, you're going to say, okay, I'm on my office, my commitment to discipline is a 6 to go to a 7. I'm going to do these things this year. And I want 3 things like you did for the life wheel, right? Because you have 24 things in your life you're going to do to achieve that feeling. Then there's these things you're going to do in your business, right? So when this is all said and done, you're going to have 48 small goals that you can accomplish to get your life and business going in the right direction. Office systems. If time management is difficult for you, this is the cure. Okay? But don't get lazy and outsource everything so you're in your house thinking the machine is running, but you're not getting any business. Your job is to be face-to-face with people, letting them experience you because they're hiring you, instead of having an auto mailer going out and it just going in their junk drawer. Okay? So we're not going to get lazy. So what we need to do is we need to create, update, or elevate existing systems. Now, if like Brittany and her dad, they do 80 to 100 deals a year. They've got a team, okay? And they need their systems to be organized, to make sure everything gets done. So they've got checklists for everything. Brittany, what's the number one tool you're using to have good communication and organization in your office?
Google Calendar.
Google
With-
Calendar.
Between
Everybody's on Google Calendar. It's simple, it's free, it's easy to use. That means you use Google Drive as well or not?
no, actually we don't.
No,
Doc-
okay.
yeah.
So Google Calendar and a team calendar, family calendars, moms know this, right? All moms are amazing because if they look at when they were raising their children, if they looked at the calendar, I mean, it had everything on there, right? Why do you think moms do that? Why do you think the calendar they use for the family life is filled and taken care of and led a month in advance, 2 months in advance? Why do moms do that?
Where we know what's going on every day and we're not double booking ourselves and forgetting about something.
So now tell me why moms don't do that in their business. Because the end result is them, but the other one, the end result is the family. They'd rather, and they'll jump through fire to take care of the family, but they'll do nothing to take care of themselves. So that's the number one problem when it comes to scheduling for super moms, is they put everything else first and themselves last, and then they're frustrated in their business. And you can't. You have to find an and philosophy. You have to put everything in the calendar, including yourself. And that's how my Focus 30-20-10 works, right? The life stuff is the big rocks in the jar. Then the work wheel is the sand around the big rocks. And then the dailies is pouring the water so the jar is full and you get everything. What moms do is they put family in first and then they're the big rock and they don't get it. They're tired, they're overwhelmed, they're busy, they're stressed, they're depressed. But everyone else is great. The house is clean, right? When you're a super mom, a superhuman, a superwoman, where you're going to raise the family, take care of the kids, do this, do that, do everything, the one thing that always diminishes is you, and you're the one that has to do everything. So that's where you have to take care of yourself. So if you can't, that's why you have systems in place in your business to make sure it gets done. And that's where you have to ask yourself, what systems do I want to apply? There's Trello, Asana, Whiteboard, Google, right? These are systems that are meant for doing the same thing that you do for your family, for your business. You schedule it. It's got, you get a listing. It pops up the next task. It pops up the next task. You're done. You're done. You can move on. If you're not organizing your brain or giving your brain a problem to solve, the brain's creating its own problems. Stress, anxiety, and worry, future negative outcome. You should have checklists for everything, not because you're not smart, just because when life gets hectic, things drop, okay? A checklist doesn't allow things to drop. So you should have a checklist for your listings. You should have a checklist for all your buyer tours. You should have a subject removal checklist. You should have a marketing checklist. You should have a checklist for everything. Your CRM, that thing should be used. It's not just to store names of the clients. It's to put the birth dates in there, to send anniversaries, to send, little things that nobody else does in the world go a long way. Okay? Like, how many of you in the last year have received a handwritten note from anybody? Did anybody get anything handwritten in the last year? What'd you get, Robin?
I got a postcard and a book from someone I used to who used to work at Girl Guides, who I volunteered with, and she just wanted to tell me how much she appreciated me, and that was just lovely to get.
Right. So compare that to an email of, hey, you're a great person, thanks, right? Like handwritten notes, having a custom handwritten note for your business that looks good, maybe your value proposition's in there. If you send out handwritten notes to your clients once a year, you will increase the return on your database. So you stop, you get out your wonderful custom-made handwritten note with your logo on it. And it's like, I've always appreciated you and your business. Thank you so much. I'm looking to grow my business. If you know anyone that needs my help, pass along my name. And thank you for your support. Boom, in an envelope, hand addressed, and out there. You could do 5 a day, every day, 5 a day, 10 times, 50 people get a handwritten note. That will impact your business way more than an auto newsletter that goes to their email junk. So keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm.
Hire or share an assistant. You can get online assistants now that are, that can help you manage your tasks, do data entry. You just, there's a lot of really good online companies now. You just got to vet them carefully. Don't give any Visa information out, but vet them carefully, and they can do a lot of the tasks that you don't want to do in your business. The number one thing that you can do for your listings, especially in a market like this where we're going to see a correction for condos, is give them a weekly update. So every Monday morning, they get how many people viewed them on Instagram, how many went and saw the pictures, how many visited your webpage. These kinds of systems that are consistent, whatever you create, whatever system you create consistently will impact your time and will be the biggest return for you. Lead generation. So you need to generate new leads for your business. So you need to be doing past client events, pop buys, third party online lead sources. Don't really like those, but some people do, but I'm not a fan of that, but that's something you can do. Money making Mondays, following up every Monday, social media ads with lead capture, success calling, success door knocking, open houses. Most of all, just ask for the business. When you want to do past client management, these are 10 things you should do. You should always do direct mail with a notepad quarterly or an item of value. You should always call your database a minimum of twice a year. The spring and home show fall tickets, those are a dream. I think, Whitney, you guys, Brittany, you do that, right? The home show tickets? And Remax gets a deal, and Royal LePage realtors get a deal if they go through the realtor broker, right?
Yeah, we used to mail one ticket to everyone on the database and then say if they want another one, let us know. And then the last year we just did like in our email newsletter, and we definitely did not get as much response.
Right. And you pay $7 a ticket if they cash it in. So maybe 20 people go, it's $140, right?
For like 2 tickets, I think, for them to send you the tickets, or it was more than the actual tickets than it was to just send it through the email.
Yeah.
But having the hard copy and the mail out, I think, is way more effective than just an email.
Brilliant. So you see how I'm crushing through all these things, and it's overwhelming, and it's kind of like, okay, wow, what do I do first, right? Like when you're running a business, you need to stop and notice and start over every 2 weeks. You have to stop, notice what you're doing, where you're going, then you start again. Because time rips by and you start just procrastinating or dropping the things that you need to do. Brittany just said, this is what we do. We didn't get a good return. So she should make sure that they go back to what they did that worked well. And she should apply that. And the first home show is coming up in the spring. So there's a +1 in her business right there. Okay. Stop, notice, start over. Own what happened and move on. Stop, own it, notice it, move on. Just let it go and accept it and move on. Business is run by you, and your mindset is created by more of your core values and the celebration than it is the other things that it wants to do 24/7. All right. For past clients, you can do a newsletter, client appreciation events, which I'll talk about a little bit later. And real estate is hard and we're winning. Life's hard and we're winning. If we just notice that Our brain wants things to be easy and they're not, so it gets overwhelmed. If we just accept it's hard, our brain is ready for battle and it's not disappointed and going into resentment. All right, client appreciation events. You guys are going to print this off. I'll just read through them. Movie mornings are really good and popular. People like those. Cocktail parties, Sunday brunches, micro events, 10 people or less, where you do a dinner, salon, pub night, art class, cooking lessons, Easter egg hunts, pumpkin patch shredded, Christmas tree chipping, ice cream socials, local tickets to the games. You're building long-lasting relationships. In other businesses, nobody ever does client appreciation events. Realtors do them because it's so important to be top of mind to your past clients. That's why you're doing it, because those people will refer you friends and family, and that referral is worth a ton of money and growing your business with new business. Confidence and thick skin, one of my favorite ones. This is the one that makes the difference of all the difference. How am I going to, this year, what am I going to put into my life? What 3 things am I going to do in my life to build my confidence? And the thick skin is, when the world gets noisy, what am I going to do to maintain my confidence and my authenticity? Right? Not give in. You want to be a calm confidence, not an agitated insecurity. Morning routine to start the day strong. Read lots of books, always be learning. Know your market, know your business, always be learning your business. Positive mantras, life is hard and I'm winning. Write it on a card, put it on a postcard, put it on a recipe card, put it on the mirror, put it in your car, put it on the fridge. Anytime you can repeat something like that, language is the diet for your mental health. So if you make sure you wake up and just give it some language, then your mental health is going to be stronger. Look at getting coaching. Look at taking a mentor for lunch. Positive affirmations. Celebrate your weekly successes. You know, just like we did for the year, do that weekly. These are my successes. Here's the values I've applied. Here's the value it brought to my life and business. Lift other people up. Be of service. My wife and I always talk about this. If you're ever worried about making money, you shouldn't if you're being of service. Because when you're of service, the money just comes. When you're taking care of others, when you're helping others, when you're lifting them up, the money just comes. When you're chasing the money doesn't come. So lift other people up, be of service, provide value, and life is a lot easier. Identify and focus on your purpose and your North Star. In my purpose-driven masterclass, I identify your North Star, your core values. It's one of the 10 modules that are the most important to build your confidence. My purpose-driven masterclass, when you apply it, builds your confidence and it masters you, and specifically for you, the things you need to do. Time management. Prioritize moneymakers and business builders. Schedule Sunday. You see the repeats that are coming up here, you guys? There's things that are always going to be repeated that are successful. Scheduling your week, taking time to schedule your week, doing your business builders, doing your money makers, using a calendar and a software to sync all the calendars, like Brittany just said. If it's not a hell yes, it's a no. Value your time. If someone calls you up and says, hey, can you do this? In your mind, you're like, oh, no, I don't want to do that. I'd love to, and unfortunately, I'm booked. Yes, that would be great, and unfortunately, I'm booked. Hey, Keith, can you go to the Canuck game? Yes, I'd love to. Unfortunately, I'm with the kids. Go ahead, Britt.
I was going to say, you told Wayne that last year, and he actually does it. And I think he feels so much better not committing to everyone and everything.
And I bet you he's more effective and he's getting more of the life he wants instead of being frustrated and overwhelmed, right? Like that's the key.
Still that too, but yeah, it's a better balance, I think.
Yeah, 100%. And Wayne likes a fun balance. Set an end to your day. Create urgency. This is super, super important as entrepreneurs. You don't want to be in your office at 10 o'clock at night being very inefficient. You want to set an end to your day. So imagine I've got 10 things to do and no end to my day, okay? And there's no urgency. The end of the day comes and I'm like, oh, I forgot to get to that. But if I have 10 things to do by 2 o'clock, what happens?
You get them done.
Right. You need a time frame in your life. To have laser focus, you need a time frame and a purpose and the first action, okay? So by the end of the day, I'm going to get my taxes done. Okay. The purpose is to get that stress off my life. The first action is pull the receipts and sort the receipts. Boom. I'm started. It's great. That's what you need to do to have laser focus. Create urgency. Always have a time frame. Don't wake up with no time frame. And book things in your life. If you've got appointments in the evening, then go to the gym in the afternoon. Cut yourself some slack. Don't work a 14-hour day that's so inefficient and ineffective you burn out. Be effective with your time. Tell your clients when the appointment will be. Don't let them tell you when it will be. That's just a simple shift. That's a mindset shift. Hey, great. I've got Thursday at 4. See you then. Or when do you want to meet? Sure. Okay. Friday, no problem. And it's like you're afraid of losing the business. You're afraid of them picking somebody else. You're afraid, fear. So you give up your time. It's not a hell yes. It's a no. You give them the time. You create the schedule. Technology, Google Drive, Dropbox, Asana, cloud-based programs. Master Paragon, master the software you're using in your business. Learn about it. Go on, Google it. If you want your software to do something, learn it. The software you're using about 10% of, and there's things in there that will truly make your business easier and more manageable. Learn and implement video into your marketing. If you really want to have strong marketing, implement video. Like, this is not even a maybe. This is a must, because video is how you create connection and you defer from the noise. That's getting worse now because all videos are bullshit because they're all done with AI. It's crazy, right? But if you do a legitimate, genuine video, someone's really going to be able to get a feeling for who you are, and your chances of getting hired have just gone up. Make sure your calendar syncs with your teams and your tools and everything calendars. Make sure you use Authentisign, Dotloop, link your community. This one's really good. Link your community pages to your web page. So if you're in a community of Burnaby, have the local rink, have the city hall, have those links on your web page. So if clients are visiting, they might use it as a resource to go back to. All right. So that's technology. That's the last one of the work wheel. So now I'm going to go back to this. What have we done so far? Okay. We've celebrated 2024. We're setting our life goals for 2025. We are now setting our work goals for 2025. Now, this is where I'm going to move through quickly, and it's great for everyone to see this next part because this is the business of the business, okay? So I haven't left it to the last for any reasons other than we just took care of the most important things. If you really want to be great at business, then you have to do the numbers of business. And I've made it very simple so you don't have to have a CGA or a CPA like Robin does. You can just put your numbers in. So you always start with reviewing your year. Always start with review. Where am I? So you review your year. How much money did I make? I made $160,000. Okay. What were my expenses? My expenses were $48,000. Great. What's left over at the end of the day? $112,000. That's my net. Okay, so my expenses were $48,000. Hard costs are things you have to pay for to be in business. All your computer programs, all your software, your licensing, what your brokerage is charging you, you have to put those in there. So let's say that number is $18,000 and you had a $48,000 in expenses. That means $30,000 is your soft costs. Remember, stop me and ask questions. If there's any confusion or any clarity needed, stop me. Okay? Just remember that. So what did I do? My revenue was 160 and I spent 48,000. what are you using to track your expenses? Are you on QuickBooks? Are you just putting them in an envelope? Do you have a bookkeeper? If you're doing significant business, you should have a bookkeeper or an accountant for sure, 100%, and a good lawyer, right? Brittany, I know you guys do a lot of business. I know you spend a lot of money. How do you track your expenses?
Dana,
Huh?
Dana, our assistant.
Exactly. And does she just keep a spreadsheet? Did she create it for you?
Yes, she did. Yes.
And then what she does is she'll transfer that to the bookkeeper or the accountant, and then they'll put it in their system and they'll go from there.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
Robin, do you have any advice for people on a good way to track their expenses?
Not necessarily a good way, but I would say, because if you want to use a spreadsheet, that's fine, but keep it up. And I think the most important thing is to at least, if you're not doing it monthly, at least quarterly review where you are and what is what's actually working financially and what's not. Like, you really have to be on top of your own numbers no matter what kind of business you have. And I think it's particularly important in real estate because I watch a lot of my realtor clients who are basically, every time money comes in, it gets spent because they think it's like their personal cash. And you really have to consider your real estate business less of a place where you do your own personal drawings, whether you're a prec or you're not. That money that comes in has to pay your business expenses before it starts paying you personally. So just be sure that you know exactly what your costs are, what you need to survive, and don't spend all your money.
Yeah. And make sure that you pay your GST and you pay your taxes right away. Take that off the check right away so you don't end up having a massively stressful life. All right. So we look here and we say, okay, that was $48,000 in total expenses. What was my expense over my revenue? So I put 48,000 over 160,000. And when I divide that, I find out that I am running my business at 30%. So why is that important? Well, because we're going to take that number forward with us. We either want to trim it, get it down so it's less, or make it more. The reason I use 30% is because I've worked with thousands of realtors, and anybody that makes around 160,000 is spending anywhere between 27 to 36% just based on hard costs and very little marketing, but having a lot of listing costs, because every listing they take is $1,000, $1,500, $800, and they just work, right? So I want you to focus on your listing costs, phone up all your providers and see if you're getting the best rate, phone around. Don't just keep using the same person because it's easy. Phone around and make sure that you're saving money, because if you're doing, 20 listings at $1,000, that's $20,000. If you're doing 20 listings at $1,500, that's $30,000. That's a $10,000 difference. It's only $500 per listing. So really pay attention to that. And then I want to know what your average commission is. So the person that did this 160,000 probably did, if I divide that by that, he probably did 10 deals and the average commission was $15,000. Okay. 10 deals at 15,000 makes 150. So it's a little bit more. So let's just do that. So it's 16,000. That's not going to be the number. So they did 12 deals. So let's go 160,000. 13,000 average commission. Okay. If you're in real estate and you want to make more money, you can either charge more commission, 7 and 4%, 7 and 3%, 7 and 3.5%, or sell higher end housing, things that are higher value, which means you're going to have to market. If you find that your average commission is lower because you do a lot of condos or a lot of townhouses, don't worry about it. It's not good. It's not bad. It just is what it is. Now that I've reflected on my business, and it's very, you're going to have to go and put your expenses together. You're going to have to get the EFT from your office on your last paycheck. You're going to have to figure out what your hard costs are. This is all work that you should do anyways. The next thing you do is you review your business and where it came from. Okay. So this person did 12 deals. Probably it would be something like 4 past clients, 6 referrals, 2 sphere of influence, and they don't do any success calling. They don't have any advertising. They don't get any web deals. They don't do any volunteer work, and they don't do any listening. That's what the average, that this is above average, because someone who's doing 160,000 at 12 deals, that's medallion. That's top 10% right there. Okay. That's top 10% of the business. You should always review where your business came from. So you look at every deal and you go past client, referral, right? And then I want to know how many of these people that referred you, right, did you send a handwritten note saying thank you to? So once you realize that's where my business comes from, you would say the top 3 things in my business are past clients, referrals, and sphere of influence. So those are the things that attributed to my success. And then to continue success, I will do client events and touch my clients quarterly, right? Whatever you're going to do to maintain that business. And I can guarantee you that most people aren't doing that. Once you reviewed your business, you now have the numbers you need to forecast your business. You have your average commission, you have your expense to ratio cost. So now what you do is we move to the next step in goal setting, which is the goals. Let's forecast next year. Okay. So if this realtor did 12, let's say their goal was 24, and I said to them, how was your year? They'd go, oh man, I only did 12. And they'd be pouting and they'd be negative. And I'd be, shut the F up, because if you do not celebrate what you did, you can't build on it. So if you did 12 and 24 is, then you set the goal for 16, or you set the goal for 14, or you set the goal for, whatever. You don't beat yourself up. There's no crying in goal setting. It's business. We're looking at the business part of business. So don't be emotional about your year. You accept it. You own it. You own what happened. I did that. I did not accomplish what I didn't want to accomplish. That's okay. And here's what I'm going to do. Now you put in your average commission of $13,000. You multiply it by your new goal of 16. That equals a revenue of $208,000. Multiply that by the 30% that you're going to put in for your costs, unless you want it to be less, or you want to invest more to grow your business. But that's the number one hard part about business, is where's the money going to come from to invest in my business? Savings, equity in the house. Am I willing to risk that? Am I willing to go into debt for this? So if we keep it at that 30%, you're looking at expenses of $62,400. Then you transfer that down there to $62,400 minus our hard costs. And you remember what your hard costs were. They were $18,000. So they're $18,000 this year. And then that leaves you your total expenses. Marketing expenses, $44,400. When we talk about it like this, it's pretty numbing, isn't it? It's pretty amazing. How much money am I spending to make my business work? So don't you think we want to focus on that money and make sure that we're spending it in the right places, instead of saying yes to things we don't want to say yes to, or not knowing where the money is? Because we're talking about $44,000 going to marketing, okay? And of that $44,400, let's say someone who's doing 16 listings is going to have, probably this business model would have 7 listings at $1,000 a listing, so $7,000 for their listing costs. Then they're spending $37,400 on their marketing. You divide that by 12, and that's $3,116 per month. That's a lot of dough when you're not making any money. And that doesn't even include your hard costs. Okay. So now that you know your expenses, you ask yourself, what am I going to invest that money in to grow my business? You look back and you say, okay, past clients, referrals, and sphere of influence. And this year I want to do 4 more. Where would I invest some money to do more business? And you're like, okay, I'm going to do a client event, or I'm going to do a micro event, or I'm going to do an ice cream social, or I'm going to, and the number one thing about being in business is you can do it 2 ways. You can spend a lot of money on your business, or you can work really hard on your business, which means physical walking neighborhoods, dropping off flyers instead of paying Canada Post, which means popping by your clients and saying hi, which means doing 2 open houses every weekend, which means grinding it out, which means working. But if that doesn't fit in your schedule and you can't grind it out and you don't have the money to invest, you're in a catch-22. So it's friends and family, sphere of influence, and personal. So that's where you want to make sure that you're out in the community, volunteering, making an impact, wearing some swag that has your name on it. Always have swag, like always have your business hat on or your jacket on that promotes your brand. So you're going to write down the top 8 things you want to invest in your business to take it to the next level next year. And now look at what worked well last year and where you're going to do even better this year and create a theme with a positive focus. So we go right back to here. There's my successes. There's my goals. Here's where I was. Here's where I'm going. What's the theme for 2025? The reason this is important is you can write it down, and when you say those words, it'll trigger everything you're doing right now. It'll open up that file in your brain. So I like to always create a theme. Like for me, 1 year was more new people. That was my theme, more new people. And I put it up on my wall. And by the end of the year, I had created like 120 more new people in my system. I'd met new people. I took new clients. It was a great year because when I have new people, I'm excited because it's new, it's fresh, it's awesome. And I have to fit them in my calendar with people that have had me, if you can imagine this, coaching them for 11 years every week. So I like new people because old people just keep doing successful things and I'm there with them and that's great, but I like some new blood as well. So when I made that theme, it really kept me focused for the year. And every time I thought about it, I did something that created more new people. So I want you to create a theme for your year, whatever that looks like. And then I want you to write that down and not lose sight of it. Now that we've done all this, there's only one thing left to do, and that's our budget, our marketing budget. Because we know that we have $3,116 per month to spend. So we put that up here, and that's our goal. Okay, that's our goal. What can I accomplish for $316,000 per month? So now it's like, okay, past client touches. I have 100 clients. I'm going to send them something 4 times, and it's going to cost me $2. So that's going to be $800. Okay, wow. And then it's like, I'm also going to send Christmas cards to the 100. And the Christmas cards is going to cost, what's a Christmas card go out about? $2, right? Christmas cards. So that's going to be $200. Okay, so now I'm going to spend $1,000 next year on my past client touches. Now, at 100 times 4 times $2, okay, that's high because you can actually send them something for about $1.20, $1.30 if you get your printing costs down, which will make this number less. So make sure you're always trying to sharpen your pencil on your bids, on what you're getting costs on. If you're going to do a farm and you're going to do 1,000 homes and you're going to touch them 12 times and you're going to do it by direct mail at 50 cents a piece of direct mail, that means that you're going to have 12,000 pieces of mail times 50 cents. You're spending $6,000 on your farm. And then you go to the website and social media. Well, you're paying $50 a month times 12 for your website, probably, or more, which equals $600. If you're doing any kind of $20 a month, $240 a year for targeted ads or anything like that. So now you're looking at, okay, website, social media, I'm looking at $840. Mail walks, if you're going to do it just listed or just sold, right? Let's say this person's going to have 8 listings and they decide they're only going to do it just listed and just sold for the listings that they want. 2 of them aren't in areas that they want. So they only have 6 listings. So they're going to go 6 just listeds times 500 average homes times 50 cents. Okay. That means they're spending 3,000 pieces at 50 cents. $1,500. Great. And remember, we're asking ourselves this question. What am I going to spend my money on to increase my business? Where am I going to put my money to increase the business, to increase my sale? Client parties should do at least one of those client appreciation events per year. This realtor at this level will be doing one event times $1,500, let's say, because it doesn't take as much as people think. Just got to be creative. So then they got $1,500 for a client event. Advertising. This person doesn't have any bus benches, doesn't want bus benches, but let's say they took one bus bench in an area that they live. So that's going to cost $150 a month times 12 months. So that's going to cost what? 150 times 12. It all adds up. $1,800. Client gifts. They're going to do, we said they're going to do 14, 16 transactions. 14, a couple of those will be a buy and a sell. So they're going to buy 14 gifts. What are you spending on a gift right now, Monica? What are you spending on for your clients? How much do you spend on a gift? Oh, I can't hear you. Sorry.
Usually somewhere between like 200 and 250.
Okay, so 250. So 14 times 250.
We tier our gifts.
Sorry?
We tier our gifts.
Yeah.
So based on the sale number,
Yeah.
like if someone bought a $5 million property,
Yep.
you'd obviously give them a way different gift than someone buying a $500,000 condo.
For sure. What do you think that averages out at?
Well, I just looked right now, and someone just bought a $600,000 condo, and that's a $250 gift.
Good. So it adds up pretty quick, especially Britt, when you guys are doing the volume you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're buying, what did you guys do last year? Did you reach your goal? Did you get up to 100?
Yeah. We did 86 and then 6 referrals.
So okay. So 6 referrals give back. So you did 86 transactions, 86 times 100, 8,600, 86 times 200, 16,000. You know, maybe they spent 20,000 in client gifts, you know, and that's Brittany, where you want to kind of focus and hone in and go, if we were to buy bulk for the, you know, the average up to 1 million people, how could we get that cost down, right? If you're buying bulk, because you're going to be doing, you guys do 80 transactions a year or more every year anyways. That might be something you might want to try to trim on, or just keep doing it the same.
Yeah. We usually been doing it clean just because places are not, like when they buy,
Yeah.
the places are not left clean.
Yeah, of course. Then there's the cleaning costs. I mean, yeah, okay. So let's just say that's $500. That ain't cheap, right?
Oh no, we usually do that as a gift
Okay.
with a lot of times, and then do something small, like a small
Okay.
gift. Yeah.
So average 250. Monica averages 250. I have seen people, and what Robin says, know your money, know how much you have, know what it costs to run your business every month. Because then when it comes to a client gift, you're not going to be super generous for $1,000 when you want to keep some of that yourself, because running your business is expensive, right? So just know your numbers. Community events. Some people sponsor community events, some don't. You can be on banners. So this realtor that I'm doing right now probably doesn't spend any money on community events. So the answer there would be 0. Realtor referral programs. Some people can pay for those. This person that I'm dealing with will be spending 0. and buyer packages and brochures. Okay, your buyer's packages. Give yourself a budget of $500 for the year to do that. Okay, so that way you build your brochures and you've got the budget, and that can be swag, hats, and it could also be your brochures. If you feel like that number is too low, then allow yourself $1,000 for that. Open houses, 0. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add up all these numbers, divide it by 12, so I can see if I'm going to be on my budget or not, right? That's my goal. My goal is this. So now I got to figure out what that looks like. Robin's probably already figured it out. So that all adds up to 17,140. I divide that by 12. That's $1,428. Okay. So right now I've worked it out and I'm at 1428. Okay. And so that means I can spend more money on my business. And if I was, knowing that my past clients and referrals and influence is there, and that I want to spend more money to get more from there. Now that I'm doing my marketing budget, if I wanted to spend more money, I would spend it on client events right down here, right? This is where I would spend the money there. And then I would spend it up here, right? And then I would spend it here. And if I wanted to try to generate more new business, then maybe I would look at this area or this area. Okay. So we've gone from reviewing our year to projecting our year to looking at the budget. And remember, you guys you're going to spend 2 good solid hours on this, even though you don't like. How many people don't like this stuff? Put up your hand if you don't like this stuff. Please be honest. How many of you don't like this part of business? Okay. So you understand how important this is, right? Like, do you notice how I simplified this whole system? I used to have coaches that would give me a 32-page goal setting. And when I got to page 2, I quit. Coach Keith doesn't want that. I have simplified the process. It's your job to get the information, right? And Robin hates this time of year because she does accounting for a lot of realtors. And they don't have it, and they're like, hey, Robin, what are my expenses at? I need to know my expenses for my coach. Or you're right. Hey, Robin?
Keith, I don't have those people anymore because that was part of my call list. So
they're in the room.
sorry.
Right? So what Robin got frustrated with was the lack of reporting that they were giving her. But then Coach Keith would come in and say, who's your accountant? And they'd say, Robin. I'd say, great. Have her give you your expenses year to date so far and your income so we can do this. So really a great discipline. And what obviously Wayne and Brittany do is they have their assistant enter it all. Caroline was an assistant for Scott Strudwick for 1 year. So she used to have to do all this. So she's very, very familiar with it. Now she's completely on her own out there fighting for the dollars, which is awesome. So this stuff is important. So guys, what have we done today? We have done the celebrations for 2024. We have 24 actions for life and 24 actions for business for 2025. So we know what we want to accomplish for our life and work goals. Oh, I got to erase all that. It sticks around. Erase. Who likes a mess? Hey, clean up that mess. All right. So we've looked at our work. We've looked at our life. We know the feelings and we know the words that we're looking to accomplish. We've reviewed our business. We've forecasted our business. We're creating a budget. What do you have now at the end of basically an hour and 45 minutes of time? What do you have now that the people that didn't come here, what do you have that they don't have now? Turn on your
The
microphone.
Head Start for
Yeah.
2025.
And how's it feel to have that done right now, Britt, instead of January 9th?
Well, I'm going away tomorrow, but now I'm kind of motivated to start already. And yeah, so it would be good to read it when I get back and yeah, just kind of already have that head start and have a busy start of the year.
Yeah, brilliant. And what about you, Monica? What do you got now that the others don't have because they're not here?
Same kind of thing, head start, and already thinking about how I'm going to be better next year and how I'm going to plan out what I'm going to do differently and build on what I already have.
Yeah, brilliant. It's kind of nice. It feels good, doesn't it? So remember, you guys got to go take care of the details. Don't just put this away. Robin, what do you got going for you?
Focus and clarity.
Nice. I love that. That's my job. That's my jam. And last but not least, Caroline.
I'm excited. I've got it started and I've already blocked time this weekend to start working on it.
Brilliant. If you feel you want to keep this momentum going, I'm offering a package for my AIM Pro, which is a meeting every Wednesday for an hour and a half, going from Wednesday, January 15th to March 5th. And then you also get a quarterly goal review for the rest of the year. So you get 4 of those meetings. The reason I built this is I have to become effective with my time because my schedule only fits so much. Yet I want to help so many people, as you can tell, stay focused and get what they want. So this is what I'm offering. It's $1,197 or 3 payments of $400. You also get the master class. You get the purpose-driven realtor program. We'll go through every week. We'll use one of the portions of the master class, which will help you define your goals. It'll help you define your purpose. It'll do all that stuff. And also using the tools, the Focus 30-20-10. And we'll go through staying focused so that you're working on your business and in your business to achieve your goals. We'll stay focused on those goals for the first 3 months. And then after that, you'll have a quarterly review on those goals. If you're interested in that, you can just go to the link at the bottom there, or in my Instagram, it's there as well, but it's myaimpdm.com/sign up. And we're going to run this for about 3-4 days for everyone that's here, and then it's going to end. And then I'm doing another goal setting in early January to see how many people I can get there as well. And then we'll start that group. They're really, really effective, guys. There's a lot of people. I had 28 in my group last year. And of the 28, I would say that almost 80% really accomplished what they wanted to accomplish. The other 20%, didn't really get the business value, but they definitely got the life value from the process. Again, it's a holistic approach. That's there if you're interested. I sent you this deck so that you have it as well with the 80 things you can put in your business. And that's it, right? That's it. That's Goal Setting 2025.
Thank you very much.
So this will be recorded. It will be sent back to you. You can watch it again, go through, fast forward, go back. Make sure you spend the time. You've invested this hour and 45. Let's continue. All right, you guys? And I'd look
Thanks,
forward to
Pete.
seeing you guys if you want to join the portal. That'd be great. Have
Thanks
a
so
great
much,
Christmas
Pete.
and have a great New Year,
Merry
guys.
Christmas.
Have a great trip, Britt.
Thanks.